The cops ain't likely to catch up with us, not tonight. So we can all be quiet and peaceable and listen to the music.
It's time to turn off that, and it's time to turn up the volume and listen to Auto Dealer Live.
Repeat after me.
Auto Dealer Live.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Villa here with Dave Cribbs, and this is Auto Dealer Live. It's the 29th of the month, and this is the close out your month version of Auto Dealer Live. You dealers that are listening, you companies that are listening, you salespeople that are listening, you automotive pros that are listening, this is your month-end version of Auto Dealer Live, man. I love this. This is my favorite time to do the show because, I'm all jacked up and juiced up, and I know, Cribbs, you are as well. Yeah. I know every dealer is. Listen, I don't view the end of the month. I don't get in panic mode, man. I get in party mode. I mean, I want to close out. I'm on fire right now. I'm feeling it.
Absolutely.
How about you, man?
Yeah, man. I've been buzzing for the last couple of days. This is what I live.
Smoking this.
Well, yeah, that too. Hey, look, I stopped smoking because it interferes with my drinking.
2 days.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I've got the buzz because it is my favorite time of the month. When we get to the end of the month and you're trying to hit your goals, I think that's what it's all about. Who's going to step up? Who's gonna go to bat? And I love that time of the month. What I hate is getting to the end of the month, ringing the bell, and then having to erase the board. That kind of have mixed emotions about that.
Sure. I love that time of the month. All right.
Said no woman ever.
All right, man. We have an outstanding show today, and I've already been threatened by the producers because, I don't know, I may have a little tad of the long-windedness sometimes, but I have already been threatened that we have to blow through the opening pretty quick because we have a jam-packed show for you today. We have an outstanding, wonderful, jam-packed show for you today. The show is just literally, I don't want to use this stupid old phrase like off the chain, but man, the show is just out of this world. Mark, what's a new phrase for off the chain? Give me something new. Like what's a new one?
I'm not that hip. I was going to go with dynamite.
Let's bring back JJ from the good times. It's dynamite. we have Get Your Social on. Amanda and Aaron Ryan are going to be joining us shortly, man. What an amazing first segment last week. I tell you what, it's kind of like watching one of those shows that a show that that gets picked up on the pilot. They got picked up.
Oh yeah,
they got picked up. The show had just an amazing feedback, outstanding. Two dynamite ladies, professional and extremely energetic. We love them to death. We can't wait for Get Your Social on coming just around the corner here. We got an outstanding, awesome, amazing drive-by scheduled. I know that you're sitting down with a hired gun.
Yes. We're going to be talking today with the drill sergeant, Stacy Ellison. She's the drill instructor for the Beckley Auto Group. We're talking about 5 rooftops and creating a uniform BDC at 5 different locations. I'm not going to talk much more about it.
But with 7 minutes from right now, we got Dealer Drive-By coming. Yep. We have a panel. Speaking of social, we have J.D. Rucker and Ryan Holtz. These are two of the strongest automotive marketing minds that are out there today. They're going to be joining us. And then we have the great Renee Stewart all the way on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. Renee is the CEO, president of Reputation Revenue. And listen, this in 30-year span, Renee has literally spent three equally, one-third. She has equally spent 10, 10, and 10. However you say that. I don't know. 10. Hey, I'm just hosting the show. She has spent, in those 30 years, equally, 1/3 at each of the major positions in the auto business.
Yeah. Coach Stewart.
Did that make any sense?
That's Coach Stewart.
We got somebody we're going to bring on right now. Just, I'm kind of curious. We wanted to bring on Tracy Myers. Tracy, thank you for calling in, man. How are you today, sir?
Hey, brother, I am fantastic. How are you?
Oh, man, I absolutely incredible. I know you're closing your month out, and we just wanted to, I literally just wanted to get you on the phone here for a second because I know you have something amazing coming up. And matter of fact, speaking of amazing, we're holding up an autographed version of You Are the Brand Stupid by Tracy Myers, who is joining us on the phone right now live from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And then we also have Carman DVDs that are signed that Mr. Tracy Myers was so gracious to send to Auto Dealer Live. But we're gonna give them away, Tracy, per you, just for really, at this point, anybody that would give us just the really outrageous tweets. Mike, make sure you send that out. And we have Tracy on the phone. And Tracy, man, would you tell dealers, I know it may be too late, but tell us and tell our listeners what's going on here in June and how they can be part of it and what they need to do. And if they want to be part of this amazing deal that you have going on as well, how they can join in possibly for the end of the year.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, and thank you for having me on. You know, it is an exciting time because we've got our third Unfair Advantage Automotive Mastermind Group meeting. We like to call it the unconference or the anti-conference because there's nothing like it in the automotive industry. It's members only, and it's market exclusive. And right now we have 52 markets that are already covered, so markets are getting, they're just getting swept up. We turned 2 people down this week because the markets were already taken.
Wow.
To become a member, we heavily vet the members as a membership process. The cool thing is, well, there's a lot of cool things about it. However, once you go through the membership process and the vetting process, there's absolutely no cost to attend the meetings. All you got to do is get there. We even feed you. The food's absolutely free. It's paid for by the preferred vendor partners, and we don't have sponsors, so they can't pitch. We won't let them pitch. They don't have booths or tables set up. That's against everything we believe in. And the format's a true mastermind format. So the members of the group actually, they lead the conversation. They bring up the topics. They lead the conversation. And my partner, Troy Spring, and myself, we simply moderate. That's all we do for 2.5 strong, aggressive, intense days. And we've got a dealer advisory council who are experts, gurus, whatever you want to call them, in the industry. We've tried to take someone from everything from BDC experts all the way through to social media experts, all the way through to traditional sales experts, and they're in the room. So if you have a question, if you've got a topic you want to bring up, they're there because obviously Troy and myself, we don't know everything. We're there just to moderate. And the Dealer Advisory Council, they can jump in and they can offer their expertise as well. Added bonuses throughout the year. You get 2 calls a month. There's a topic call, and there's also a mastermind call, and the Google group, which is filled with information, man. There's just so much cool stuff. We meet 3 times a year. This attendance for this meeting, which is coming up June 8th, 9th, and 10th, memberships are gone for June, man. It's crazy. We only offer up so many memberships so we can grow slowly, and we can develop the group as we go. Since it's not a money-making objective for us right now, it's sharing information and giving back to the automotive industry, which has been so good to us. But the next meeting, September 7th through the 9th in Charlotte, you guys are going to be there live.
Yes,
and
sir.
I don't even know if you've announced that yet, but you're going to be there, and we're excited about that.
Awesome.
But now is the time to go to unfairadvantagemastermind.com. That's unfairadvantagemastermind.com. And fill out a membership application, and you'll go through the process. There's no membership fee. There's no fee to fill out the application. There's no sales pitch at the end. It's not Amway. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you're not going to get in the meeting room and we're going to slap you credit card with a lot of fees. That's not what this is about. And we talk a lot about it off the air, obviously. Sure. And you know what it's about. And man, it's just about giving back.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you stopping by today, and we are going to talk a lot about it. We definitely will be there, and we're excited. And Tracy, man, I appreciate you stopping by, man. I know you're busy getting ready for the June Mastermind as well as closing your month out. And, man, thank you so much for coming by.
You got it. Hey, and the meetings are all in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it's easy hub to get to from anywhere in the country. It's easy and inexpensive, so forgot to throw that in there. We're not going to the Bahamas for a vacation, man. We're going for education. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm excited. I can't wait. And thank you so much, man, for coming by, and I can't wait to meet you.
Hey, you got it, man. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to today's show, man. You got a killer lineup today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
You got it.
That was Tracy Myers, and man, I tell you what, September 7th, 8th, and 9th, is that the dates?
For the live event that we're going to be participating in?
Oh,
yes.
In September, September
7th, 8th, 9th. I'm not sure if he said 10th. He might have said 10th.
Well, we will be talking about it a lot between now and then. We will be there. We're excited about that. And let me tell you something. I look forward to literally meeting Tracy, but we've talked a lot, and that guy is the real deal. Yes, he's doing this because his heart's in it to do it, and I cannot wait. And dealers, listen, get on the ball right now. Don't wait. You heard him say this. I mean, this is not something, even though easily it could be. And this guy's making plenty of money, and so is everyone else that's there in their own rights and respect. But they're not making money on this. They're not trying to do that. The objective here is to help the auto business. And so you heard him. I mean, it's too late. I mean, they wouldn't take your money if you gave it to them right now, or take your membership. But September is available. Go to the Unfair Advantage website. Find Tracy Myers. You can follow him on Twitter at the real Tracy Myers. And you want to check out what's going on there. We're excited.
I'm excited about broadcasting there, but I'm even more excited about actually witnessing everything that takes place, because this conference seems so different from what we're accustomed to seeing and hearing about.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to see it. Another thing, real quick, Dave, I got to say something about Tracy's book. Tracy's book is such an easy read. I read the entire book in one day, which I'd never do that.
Right.
And it pretty much is the theme for the show today.
Wow, it sure is. It actually is. Well, listen, pick it up, and we're giving this away. Outrageous tweet. I don't mean like outrageous bad. I mean, come on, step up and let's do some tweets. What do you got to say today? Because this is an autographed copy of "You Are the Brand Stupid." It's really the topic of today's show. Tracy signed it, and you want to get a hold of this. Like Dave said, it's an easy read. It's thin, but also it's valuable. This thing is power packed. Without further ado, check it out. We had Stacey Ellison stop by in the drive-by segment here. Yours truly, Dave Cribbs, talk to her. But before we do, Martin.
Yes, sir.
What's trending, baby?
Let's see here. U.S. seeks to fund Alcoa's bet on automotive aluminum. U.S. states meld zero-emission car plans and drive to sales goal. California, New York, and 6 other states aiming to get more than 3 million zero-emission vehicles on the road in the next decade. Honda Accord Hybrid misses 47 miles per gallon label. Consumer Reports finds that Honda's gasoline-electric Accord is the most fuel-efficient midsize sedan in the United States, yet it doesn't get its window sticker average. BMW Benz Hyundai models with auto brakes ranked best for crash prevention. Luxury models from BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Hyundai of all came out on top in front crash prevention rankings. Finally, GM engineer says he didn't remember changing ignition switch part. The GM engineer who approved modifying a faulty ignition switch design in 2006 without changing the part number or pushing for a recall told congressional investigators this month that he forgot ever authorizing the change. That's according to a report filed Wednesday in the courtroom. And that's what's trending. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you, Martin, with that radio voice. Was that you or the beard?
I believe that was the beard.
That was the beard. Thank you, Martin's beard, for what's trending. What's trending? What's growing is his beard. Dave Cribbs sat down with Stacey Ellison. Check this out on Drive By.
Welcome to the Drive By, and today we head out to Beckley, West Virginia. We're going to be meeting a young lady who's just been given a huge opportunity. She's actually a hired gun for Beckley Auto Group, and she's been tasked with setting up a uniform BDC department under 5 roofs. That's 5 different locations. And she's going to share with us today what that looks like. Without any further ado, let's meet the drill instructor, Stacey Ellison. Stacey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. I'm real excited to be here.
We're excited to have you, Stacey. Can you share with our viewers a little bit more about Beckley Auto Group and what your opportunity looks like there?
Well, what we do, we have 5 different rooftops. We've got Beckley Buick GMC, which is also the auto mall. We have Hyundai of Beckley. We have the Hometown Group, which consists of Subaru and Kia. And we have King Cole Chevrolet. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a BDC to handle all 5 of those rooftops. Every sales opportunity and every service opportunity will come directly through my BDC.
So Stacey, from what I understand, you're actually building a BDC department that'll have a uniform style, if you will. In other words, it'll look exactly the same at all 5 locations, and you're going to implement that by starting this this training process that's almost like it's like a boot camp style training. Is that correct?
That's correct, and it actually starts this Tuesday, so we're really excited. We've been working on this for about a month and a half now. Their training will go from Tuesday through Saturday. Saturday will be their first day on the phones live, and it's a boot camp style. We go through the entire training guide, the process, the procedures, front to back. Basics, stay the same. The process stays the same. And I've got a great team coming on, and they're really excited to learn the process.
Now, Stacey, when you're working with your reps and your training, are you going beyond just the typical script training? Because my fear with appointment setters, when I hear the term appointment setter, I don't know if it's just me, but it automatically places in my mind someone who's just a telemarketer, someone who's just gonna, walk down a script, not be really emotionally or bought in or have skin in the game. And I realize that in today's market, most of the BDC reps are incentivized in some way. But do they have enough at stake, and do they have enough conversational skills, selling skills, if you will, on the phone to really nail down that appointment? How important do you feel it is to have that conversational skill?
Absolutely. I always go by the match and mirror technique. People like people who are like them. So when my reps are trained, they're going to be trained to deal with all kinds of people, all situations. And it all comes down to listening. For example, when I take phone calls, and I take phone calls here all day long, I make phone calls. The conversation I have with the customer at 9 o'clock is not going to be the same conversation I have with the customer at 9:15. You have to actually listen to what they want, change your tone of voice, change the speed of the way you talk, and actually get them to get in the door. And I do feel the way you talk to the customer will get them in the door before you just hand them solid information.
And Stacy, were there actually BDC departments set up at the dealership before you came on board with this new opportunity?
They did have one. They did have an internet department set up. And when I came in, and the reps that are in that department are phenomenal. They're fantastic reps. I just don't think the dealership as a group had the process in place that they wanted. But when I came on, Lori and Ernie Davis are the dealer owners and principals, and they are phenomenal. They had the vision. They've been to the BDC awareness conferences. So what I'm excited about being here the most is that everybody in this dealership, 5 rooftops, have the same vision, and they want the same thing. So what I've done so far is I just came in and restructured that process. And again, the reps are phenomenal. I mean, we're setting out of 5 rooftops right now. We're setting an average of 20. Right now, about 22 appointments a day. But again, that's just with the 3 reps that I had, that were already here in place.
Okay, now Stacy, listen, just for a moment. Nobody's listening, none of our viewers. I just want to ask you a question. This is just between you and me. Given this big, huge opportunity that you've just kind of undertaken, let me ask you this. Are you a little bit nervous? Are you just a little bit nervous?
I am. I'm nervous, but it's a good nervous. And the reason I say that is because I have phenomenal employers. I have, Joe Adkins is our GM. They want to work with you. They don't in any way, shape, nor form feel like I work for them. They see it. They understand it's going to take a little bit of time to see results. They understand there's going to be hiccups. They understand that there may be tweaks. And they're just so laid back, and they're excited about it just as much as I am. So it's a good nervous that I have right now.
Stacy, I've got to wrap it up, but I do have a confession to make. Our whole entire viewing audience and listening audience just heard that last question. But thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're back.
We are back. Thank you, man.
You're welcome. But
you know what's crazy, man? I've been waiting to get this all week. You know what it is?
What is it, brother?
You know what I've been waiting on to get all week, man?
What is it?
I've been waiting to get my social on. What up, ladies? How are you?
Content? Oh, hi. Hi.
Go ahead.
You were looking at the video. Can anybody see the video?
Absolutely. I was watching you on the video, so I never forgot to pick the phone up. Go ahead. You're on. You guys are a trip.
We were saying, you get a car. You get a car. Good time. Had an Oprah moment.
Guess what? We already played your music, but because I jacked it up and picked it up, we're going to play it one more time, Martin. Can you play that one more time? We're going to do the intro. You missed the whole intro. You have to listen back. I actually said... I got to say this before you guys start talking. That's Amanda and Aaron singing, guys. That's the Ryan sisters singing right now. Absolutely. Justin Timberlake called and he's ready now. So.
That's awesome. I know. How much fun is that? I mean, speaking of fun, the first week of Get Your Social On was last week, and we talked about social signals, and now we're at week number 2. I know. Already, it just flew right by. So, just to recap, I'm Erin Ryan, and I'm Amanda Ryan. And to recap, last week we talked about social signals. What the heck are they? We did. And so this week is a little bit more detail about what happened last week and how you can get those social signals. So today's awesome topic is content that increases social actions, not crickets. We tried to do that. Well, it's something that you definitely do not want to hear on your social networks is nothing, absolutely nothing, because what happens is you try so hard to have it happen, and all of a sudden you're just hearing crickets. Crickets. Crickets, which means that nobody is doing the social actions that create the social signals. So to do that, you have to make sure that you don't have any crickets on your page and your content is awesome. Right, exactly. So you definitely want to make sure that, it's so ugly, I know. You definitely want to make sure that the content that you have sharing on your page is worthy of getting social action, right? Exactly. And there's a couple that we're going to touch on today, the types of content that you can create in order to get those social actions to create those social signals. And this is what you want to have happen to your social network. You want to open up to the internet so that everybody is +1ing, liking, retweeting the content that's on your blog, that's on your website, and that you post to your social networks. Exactly, because, I mean, all that hard work that you're putting into your blogs and your social networks, what is it doing? Well, if it's doing nothing because nobody's creating social actions, it is doing something to you. It's causing frustration, discouraged. You're going to say, I don't want to do social media anymore. We're not going to let that happen. We're here to motivate you. Okay, so the types of content that you want to actually use are 2 that we're going to touch on today. First one is blog. Make sure you have excellent quality blog content. And you want to make sure you have your social buttons, as you can see up here, on your blog as well. And you want them on every single post that you create and put out and post on your blog. So with that, I know I said blog a lot. So what you do is you make the content spectacular. So in doing that, you might want to do evergreen posts. So what are evergreen posts? Evergreen is a piece of content that can be shared multiple times. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, and it can be revisited. That's evergreen. So, if you want to talk about the 2014 Ford Mustang, the 5 best reasons for you to buy a 2004 Ford Mustang. Yeah, and another great example would be like 5 things you didn't know about the 2014 Ford Mustang. These types of evergreen content can be shared, and they're not timely, so they can be shared forever, and they will last long in Google. And who doesn't love a Ford? I know, right? Right? Okay, so if you want to go local, you can definitely do history, tips, facts. You can love your local area because you want to bring some people who can actually go into the dealership to your blog and when you share that to your social network. But remember that if you're going to touch on an event, make sure that if you're going to post it today, it's happening in October. Yeah, a little bit way down the road so that shares can actually happen and those social signals can actually occur from those social actions. So the second thing you can do is inventory pieces. So we're actually talking about sharing your VDP. Can you believe it? I know. To your blog or to your website or to your social accounts. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually take an inventory piece, and of course, you have to focus in on the quality of the picture. So what does it look like? Is it fuzzy? Is it you have to squint? Is it small? Is it too small? You want a good size, and you want it visually appealing. Like that. Ta-da. I mean, obviously, you might have this kind of scenery. It doesn't have to be as professional. No, but you know what we're saying. You can actually go out to the lot and take a picture and make it look visually appealing. And what you want to do is you then have to take into account text. Because you don't want just the picture to look good, you want your text to look good too. So think of URL shorteners. Yes? Like Bitly, for instance. So presentation overall is very key. Quality matters. So for both, you want to make sure that you have clear, bright, big images. You want to make sure that you have clever text. Get creative on it. Yep. So something like this, I'm just going to try to get it off the top of my head. This 2014 Ford Mustang is looking for a forever home, and your driveway happens to be it. And you have a link. A nice example. Yeah. Another great example would be, using the picture itself as inspiration. So, for instance, you can say, drive until the sun comes up or until the sun goes down in your 2014 Ford Mustang. High-five that. Love it. So the whole point is to actually put the consumer into the driver's seat. You want them to feel that, because if you can put them there, then they can see themselves there, and they'll want to be there. Absolutely. Okay? So, thinking about social actions, make sure that you have a responsive website, because people aren't just using laptops and desktops anymore. They're on their tablets. They are. And they're also on their smartphone. Especially on their smartphone these days. I can tell you, I am. Okay. So, let's go ahead and move on to our social shout-outs. We loved doing this last week, and you know what? This was so hard to choose people because you guys are so awesome. Yeah, we felt the love. We did. We got flooded with amazingness from the hashtag Get Your Social On. If this is your first time tuning in, hashtag Get Your Social On to us. I'm at the Erin Ryan, and I'm at Amanda Shares. And we would definitely love to tweet G+, Facebook with you. We're all over the place. So let's get right into it. We're going to say, at the Dennis Wagner. What's up? You're a great tweeter. If you're not following him, you should. Thank you. Michael A. Cirillo. He is Canadian. Yes, he is. Go Canada. So just that alone makes him awesome. But he's also in the automotive industry. So he's definitely a great follow. At JB_car guy. Hello to you for your awesomeness. Yeah, the retweets. At Terry Lancaster. I often tell Terry that he should be on Game of Thrones. Yeah. Does he not have a Game of Thrones name? Lancaster? Totally. It's straight in. At Brent47, thanks so much for interacting with us. And at Jeff Goes Social. Hello, I love your Twitter handle. Who doesn't love that, right? Really. Okay, so we're just going to have a quick tweetable tweet moment. Say that 10 times fast. Tweetable tweet. Tweetable tweet. Okay, and the tweetable tweet goes to me. Yes, me. You're so awesome. Tell the story real quick. Okay, so basically last week after the show, we got a tweet, and he's like, how can we tell you two apart? And I said, of course. I mean, being twins and all, right? You're going to have to guess. And I typed, playing the Jeopardy music. And he tweeted back with this awesome tweet that, of course, we absolutely love and created big smiles. Yeah, big smiles. These sisters know how to get their social on. Ooh, how fantastic is that? And, of course, it's Jeopardy style. Absolutely. How smart. We also want to, this new little part here, slap my Facebook. That was awesome. Choo-choo. To Stacy Whitlock Ellison, who's here on the show today. We're so excited. Okay, so she quickly wrote us last night, and we had fun interacting with her, that she was excited to connect with us and that Get Your Social On is the best, and it made our day. It really did. And her dealership is actually getting on board with social right now, so they're going to be tuning in every week. So we want to give a special shout-out to Beckley Auto Group. Hi, Beckley. Hi, everybody. Hello. Thanks for getting your social on with us. Thank you so much. And you know what? That wraps it up. I know. That was quick. So fast. So fast. Take a breath. I know. Okay, for more on today's topic, you can always visit thewikiblog.com. We'll be shortening it for you, friends. Until next time, get your social on. Back to you, David.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Hey, Cribs, you know what, man?
What? That was a great segment.
See, we just had to try our twin. We didn't do that very well, man.
We got to practice on that.
We don't have the synergistic.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, man. I just had a smile on my face the entire time I was watching that.
I'm
glad the cameras went on me. I would have looked like a freaking goober, man. I'm watching them with a big smile on.
Yeah, and same here.
It's very comforting.
You know
what? Comfort food for the ears.
Absolutely. I love the entertainment of the segment is awesome. But I have to go back each week now and watch for the content because I love the content.
I can tell them apart, by the way.
Yeah, I can too.
I can tell them apart.
But wait till they start switching and wearing the same clothes and wearing their hair the same way. We'll screw it up.
I can still tell them apart. They look the same, but I can tell them apart. I've already got their the personalities kind of down a little bit.
All right.
So very cool. Man, we're going to be bringing on, speaking of the Ryan sisters, listen, if you Get Your Social On, which obviously you do, tell us about it. What an outstanding crew. But moving along, we're going to bring them back on. They're actually going to join our panel. We have Ryan Holtz and JD Rucker coming on. So Erin and Amanda are going to be joining our panel here in just a couple of minutes. We're actually getting them on as we speak. Just while we're kind of waiting here for the connection and for them all to join, we were doing a meeting this morning. It's kind of really cool. I wanted to talk real quick about the difference between significant and walking in significance.
Yeah, I loved what you shared today.
Thank you.
I loved it.
Thank you. I guess the difference is, really quick in a couple of minutes, something that really hit me today, significant, which is not a bad word. It means
it's a great word.
It means sufficiently great. And listen, guys, I want to just start by telling you, you got to want to be great. To succeed, to really, truly be a successful person,
100%.
you have to want to be great. Not just good, not just kind of good. You have to be great. You have to want to be great. Significant means sufficiently great. But here's the thing that kind of stuck out to me, that I don't want to be significant. I want to walk in significance.
Yes.
And significance means the quality of being significant. So it goes from like, hey, once in a while, and that's really the key there. I mean, being great once in a while. They say a blind squirrel finds a nut even once in a while. So
right.
I could be great once a day, once a week, once a month. That's not good enough. I want the quality of being significant.
Yes.
And it's a really cool way to remember this. It just hit me this morning. I mean, I literally I'd never seen this before. I was writing on the board. I was kind of doing the meeting this morning, and it hit me that in the word significant is I can't.
Mm-hmm.
In the word. So in the word significance is I can.
Yep.
Isn't that pretty cool?
That is very cool. That's very cool.
So walking in significance, or I can, versus walking in being significant, I can't.
Significant is a one-time event, but
right.
Significance is a lifestyle. It's a credibility. It's a constant.
Yeah, the difference would be like AOT or SOT. Some of the time or all the time. SOT, some of the time, life, meaning that you just walk through life, you live life, hey, it's going to happen some of the time, you're going to be great.
You're going to have success some of the time.
AOT, or all the time, it's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
That was awesome meeting.
So waiting on Jason, guys. We have the Ryan sisters on. They're going to be bringing them back on in the panel for a second. We're just waiting on Ryan and JD to join the call. And but let me tell you, next week, I want to talk for a minute about next week's show. We have Tom Hopkins. Those of you that are in the sales arena, hey, Jason, the sales arena, Tom Hopkins is not a stranger. Tom has sent some of his books, his newest book, When Buyers Say No. Next week's going to be one of my favorite shows. We're just going to have a straight up sales show. I mean, this is going to be just literally sales training, sales amazingness. And Tom Hopkins is, Tom traveled with Zig Ziglar.
Yeah, he's the guru of sales. I mean, I looked at his calendar. He's, I don't even know how he can be on the show. He's in Singapore every other week. I mean, it's just like he's flying all over the world talking. I'm glad we're having him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good news is he just like Aaron and Amanda, they're in Canada. So, you just the beautiful.
Technology.
Huh?
Technology.
Absolutely.
I forget how it works sometimes, but.
So are we ready to go? All right. So, guys, we're excited about this segment. We have an outstanding panel that are going to join together and talk about the auto business and branding yourself and social marketing and social media. And on the phone we have JD Rucker, we have Ryan Holtz, and we have back with us, which are also on video, Amanda. I almost called him Marin.
We're used to it.
You're used to it? Literally, I looked at him on the screen. Marin. We have Amanda and Aaron and Ryan. Guys, I appreciate it. JD, Ryan, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. And then Amanda and Aaron, outstanding segment. Thank you for sticking around a little longer.
No, absolutely, anytime.
You guys are awesome. I'm going to jump right into it. And I'm going to let you guys, if we could, we kind of do this because we recognize when we have, masters of a topic, of an industry and of a genre on the phone with us. So we consider that of the four of you guys. So I'm going to let you guys talk because I'm going to learn. So just kind of starting it out, if I can just kind of throw out the word, sometimes when we talk about social media, you don't know what precisely you're going to talk about. But if I can throw out the word brand, maybe that'll get us started talking because we had Tracy Myers that called in earlier, and we're going to be in September. We're going to be at his Unfair Advantage conference, and Tracy has a book that we talked about called "You the Brand Stupid." Just going off the word brand, Ryan, I'll start with you. What does that mean to you in the automotive social world? Talk about the word brand.
You know what? The word brand to me means, it's one's identity. It's kind of the self-expressional token that, whether you're a company or individual, you really get to evoke emotion in another human being. So, Brand is as much as psychology as it is marketing, as it is sales. It's it's truly who you are, and it's your identity. So social media is really cool because you get to have kind of a little cocktail party and tell everybody what your brand is. So in the dealership realm, it could be your your showroom, your corporate culture, your it's everything that encompasses you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of the social aspect of it, Amanda and Aaron, talking about brand, like Ryan said, brand is you. In Tracy's book here, you're the brand stupid. And I'm not calling you guys that by far. I'm just saying that's the name of the book. I feel weird saying that every time I say it. I'm like, Cribs apologizes. Like, I'm sorry, man. And I'm like, no, not you. You're the brand stupid. And I think that, sometimes we think of social as such a disconnect, but isn't that what it is? Not? I mean, it's you. It's an extension of who you are, correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I kind of look at it as in the brand is your face. Everything that you put out there, everything that people see is going to be your brand. So just like you as a person, the first thing that people usually look at is your face. So how you show yourself, how you represent yourself, how you treat others, the expression on your face, the expression and the identity through your brand, it's quite similar. So I kind of visualize it that way. That's kind of how I look at it. But it's definitely something you can think about. It's basically how you present yourself as a brand is how people will perceive you. Exactly. And I mean, social media becomes your voice. Mm-hmm. So that's where you're able to express yourself. So your brand that's why you want to be consistent across all places with your images and your profile pics. So people can understand your voice is going consistent across all places as well. So you can give off a perception and not become just a brick and mortar anymore, but an actual personality. No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, seriously, another thing that I was going to just mention here, sorry for interrupting you, but it's basically also what you put out. So you're talking about content today, for instance, on Get Your Social On, is the content. So if you are putting out, for instance, cat photos and their memes, because they're so popular on the internet, then your dealership is going to get known for cat photos. So basically, put out the content that you want to be associated with, you want to connect with, and that's the people you're going to attract. So that's basically how you work out and make sure that your brand is recognized for what it is, and basically, people will know who you are based on that. Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, JD, are you with us?
Yes, he is.
JD?
Yes. Sorry.
No worries. Hey, JD, I want you to address this really to the individual, to the salesperson out there, because we've been talking a lot lately about what dealers should do socially. Just kind of take for a moment the individual salesperson. What do you think is the most impactful way they can really get started in making a social footprint?
It's funny, you mentioned that, and my answer would have been different about a month ago. I'm starting to see some things popping up lately that are actually quite interesting. We tackled this a long time ago, and in social media land, a long time ago, it was about 2 or 3 years. But we went to a dealer group, a large one, and we addressed quite a few salespeople. There's, about 160 salespeople in the room, and demonstrated the power of social media, showed that if I were back in the dealership selling cars today, that I feel that I could sell 15 to 20 cars strictly off social as an individual, and showed them what to do. And we found that it was challenging, not just because, again, back then it wasn't as popular and there wasn't as much buy-in, but also because it did require some interaction in ways that they didn't understand. And so I abandoned it. I abandoned it until about 3 or 4 weeks ago when I started noticing that we were getting leads coming in for our company through social media that were coming from salespeople. And at first I hate to admit it, but I kind of dismissed it. I thought, what are they doing? But then when I looked closer, I started seeing some things and really learned from these salespeople. They were creating their own pages, and since we're talking about branding, creating their own individual brand. Now, this is going to go contrary, because I know that a lot of dealers will say, they want to focus on the dealership and not on the individuals. I've seen some amazing examples of the opposite, where individual salespeople were building up a brand that was helping to promote both. So, first and foremost, a salesperson, if they're serious and if they really, really are dedicated to the industry and dedicated to increasing their sales, they should not only have a profile, but in my opinion, they should have a business page as well. His business page should be branded with something that's different from just their pure name. There's so many guys out there. The Ryans had mentioned Mike Cirillo. Mike Cirillo just hired a guy a few months ago, Robert, your Hyundai guy, Weitzman. This is a gentleman who was selling cars specifically through social media and created his own persona as a result, and people were following him locally and buying cars and referring people to him because he had built up this I wouldn't call it a cult following, but it was a very powerful and popular following as a salesperson. Mike the Car Guy takes Instagram to 8 or 10 levels higher, and his brand is equivalent to what he's been doing for the dealership itself. YouTube Diva, Elise Kephart. I could go up and down the list of these people that have been very, very strong in building their own individual personalized brand and surrounding that, associating that with the dealership. Now, dealerships will say, well, you don't want to do that because then what if they leave? Here's the thing. You take Robert out of the equation, and most of these people that are doing this are staying because it makes sense for them to co-brand. And if you're able to do that as an individual salesperson, co-brand with your dealership, people will start coming in, walking in, and asking for you directly. You'll be able to help the dealership get more business, and you personally will be able to generate a ton of business. And I can send a lot of examples. I've been kind of cataloging it over the last month, so it's interesting that you picked that question out for me because it's hot on my mind.
Well, thank you for that. Awesome. And I'm going to bounce this one to Ryan and then Ryan, and then the Ryans can actually weigh in on it as well. But Ryan, I know you spent some time in the car business as well, and I think this is something that our listeners, if I know the auto dealer well, and we have about 5 minutes left in this segment, so I know it's kind of flying by, so I'm going to give you guys a chance to really just all talk here. Dealerships are saying, okay, I know how to sell cars. Do I hire, now, these are dealers that are listening, do I hire somebody, such as the wonderful individuals that we have in the panel, type your type, or do I, how do I train the car business into them? How do I use this to sell cars? You mentioned Robert Wiseman, and I know he's a car guy as well that happens to be, up on social. With a lot of dealers, don't even know how to send a text message. So let's answer that question, Ryan. Kind of bridging the gap. What's the best and most effective plan for a dealership? To the dealers that are listening, and then I'll let Amanda and Aaron weigh in on that as well.
Well, I think it's a great question. And Robert Wiseman, Elise Kephart, I follow all of them, and it's funny because JD says, hey, Robert's built a really cool following. I think the reason why that happened, though, is if you go to Robert Wiseman's Twitter, all he's talking about is like the WWE and body slams, and he loves the wrestling, right? And now I've met him once, but I don't really know him on a personal level, but I connect with him because he's showing me the dynamic that he has. So he's really humanizing himself, which appeals to the masses. So just because we're, car people, I always say, don't go with the whole fishbowl syndrome. Mm-hmm. My best ideas I get for marketing do not come from the automotive industry. They come from out of the industry. Because what I'm really looking to do is create that gap and that separation through creativity, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was at the dealership, my biggest asset was that I had no automotive experience. So I came in with all these fresh ideas, and I really came in as an individual rather than some car guy, quote-unquote car guy, car girl. So my advice to dealerships is bring people in that are good at what they do. So, if he likes sales or he likes marketing, find somebody, and you can teach them how to sell cars or the automotive portion of it, but look for somebody who really loves the online and really likes just kind of getting a voice out there.
Well, what do you think about Instagram?
Instagram. Thank you for asking that. You know what? I was actually reading an article yesterday. I love Instagram. Instagram right now has, I think it's something like 15 times more engagement rate than Facebook, 25 times more engagement rate than Twitter. Now, Instagram is cool because if you go to any marketing 101 class, we're all taught as kids that we love pictures, pictures of locomotion. Now, if you put an adult who's got ADD, and all of us in the car business, we seem to always be multitasking, doing multiple things.
I resemble that.
If you say, I know, exactly, you're on your phone right now retweeting. So, if I say, hey, read me this paragraph, and then I come back to you 25 minutes later and I say, hey, what did you read? You're kind of like, I think there was something about like this. But if I say, hey, do you remember that picture? You're like, oh, yeah, I love that picture. You should have seen the sky was dark. I think the guy used some sort of filter. You know, you get excited about that. And I always say, like, you know, sell what you have, use what you have. And we're in the automotive industry, so we have cars, we have rims, we have engines, we have all these image-based, like, you know, emotional things that people are constantly talking about. So I think if a dealer's not on Instagram right now, they got to get on Instagram.
I want to ask Aranda what they think. Amarin. I'm sorry, Amarin.
That was a new one. I haven't heard that one before.
I heard that one, see.
So, I'm used to Amarin, but what was it?
Aranda.
Aranda. Love it. You know, I agree with both of them. I agree with both JD and Ryan. The thing is that people take in visual context way more than text and way more than any other type of format. So if it's visual, whether it's video, whether it's an actual picture, that's what people are taking in, and they remember it so much faster, and it sticks with them. So Instagram, for sure. You know, in regards to, like, Mike the Car Guy and Robert Wiseman and those guys, you know, a lot of these guys are doing this stuff in their own time because they are passionate, and they can bring a lot to the table with passion. You really can. And because they're passionate, they'll do it in their own time. But a lot of, you know, people who work at dealerships, they don't have the time to do it throughout the day, and they don't want to give up that free time, you know, after work. Yeah, I mean, the first thing you've got to do is fall in love with your brand. That's what will help you sell. That will help you do better on social networks. That will help you to do better on blog posts, on your website content. Once you fall in love with your brand and you fall in love with what it is that you're doing, then all other things begin to fall into place because your passion comes through, and that's contagious. People know when you're having fun. People know when you're enjoying it. And people know when you're faking it. Yes, they really do. So give them credit and show them that, you know, this is basically what you're about, this is what your dealership's about, and create that positivity. We're in the car business, but we're also in the people business.
There you go.
So we might be trying to help sell vehicles, but we're selling them to people.
You hit
and
it on
that's a psychological level that's beautiful.
You hit it on the head there. You hit it on the head there. That's the one thing I think that is needed to be said all along. We're in the people business, and I think Ryan was saying that as well when he was talking about how, you know, just relating to consumers. I mean, you're trying to sell them a car. Regular people drive. You know, it's not like they're, you know. So I love that. We're in the people business.
JD, the final question's for you. It's just a multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
Strongest platform for an individual car salesman.
I thought you were going to be like the strongest wrestler.
No, WWE. No. Strongest platform for an individual salesperson at a car dealership: Facebook, webpage, or Twitter. A webpage meaning a website. Sorry, blog site, website, whatever you want to call it.
Help him out. Chris is like the
help a brother out.
I personally,
we just got our social off.
Bebo is my favorite, but you know, we're trying to bring sexy back there, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Facebook has the highest potential, especially if you know how to take advantage of it. And that's a multiple choice question that I could talk about for the next multiple hours, and I won't. I'll just stick with Facebook hands down.
All right, we got it.
Right, you said it, guys. The time, we're actually like 7 minutes over, but I mean it's phenomenal stuff. JD and Ryan, I know that Amanda and Aaron are on with a new segment, but I want you guys to come back and have a little longer so you guys can just sit and really talk about this. I think the dealers are very interested in this subject, and they just don't know where to start. And it's great to know that there's individuals like those that are on this phone call that can definitely help them. And so great segment. And really quick, if you could just maybe give a shout out to who and how a dealer can reach you, because I definitely don't want to, even though we're late, if I want to take time for that because you took time to come on our show. I'll start with you, Ryan. How does a dealer reach out to you?
They can reach out to me on Twitter at Ryan Holtz 1. Visit my blog, ryanholtz.ca, and my phone number, 780-218-5899. I welcome any and all questions.
JD?
DealerAuthority.com, Facebook.com/ Twitter.com/ just do a search for Dealer Authority, and you'll be able to get straight to me.
And last but certainly not least, Aaron and Amanda.
You can get a hold of me on Twitter at @TheAaronRyan. and I'll tweet with you. I love talking about automotive and social media.
Yeah, and I'm at Amanda Sherry, but you can also connect with us both at Wikimotive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay social.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
That was an awesome segment, and hopefully that you learned something and picked it up. And I encourage you, if you're listening, we're going to be bringing Renee Stewart on in just a minute. She's going to wrap the show up. She's with Reputation Revenue, and I'm excited to talk to Renee. Renee is a wealth of knowledge. But before we do, just to kind of wrap up while we're getting her on, just keep this in mind, dealers. You know, you're intrigued by this. Don't drop the ball on it. We're in a social world. You know, people are all over the internet, and you sell cars to people. And people are on social media. You're on social media in your personal life. So it's important. So without further ado, I am very excited to get a chance to speak to this woman again. She is a wealth of knowledge. She is, as I said earlier, 30 years in the automotive industry, and she spent 10 years in the accounting, 10 years in the service, and 10 years in the front-end variable operations. And Renee, thank you so much for joining us. I know that we're a couple minutes late bringing you on, but we're going to give you all the time that you need to wrap this show up. And how are you today?
Absolutely fabulous.
Great.
Thanks for asking, and thanks for having me back. I love you guys. You guys are great.
Well, we love you, and I know that you're you know, we're here in a sense wrapping our day up shortly, and I know you're just in the middle of getting started. You know, you're over in the West Coast, and so I want to thank you for taking time out of what's the middle of the prime part of your day. And I know it's the month end, and but Cribbs wasn't here. I don't believe the last time that we. Were
yes,
you here?
I was.
Okay, you were here. Okay,
yep.
So that was one of your first shows. So you know, I know that you once you start off, because I know that you were interested in getting Renee back on as well.
Yeah, and Renee,
Can I say something just really fast?
Sure, go right ahead.
Sure.
I have total goosebumps because what you guys have been talking about is my life, my passion. Personal branding for car people. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
That's why. Well, that's why we knew that you were perfect for this show.
Yeah, and I've been looking forward to it. I mean, Renee, first of all, you're a bundle of positivity, which I love about you, and I see the impact that you're having on others that I'm witnessing online. I'm just going to jump right into it. Why don't you just begin to share what an individual salesperson in the auto industry can do? What are the best steps to take, again, to get that social footprint, and what advice would you give?
Oh, my gosh. First and foremost, first of all, what everyone else said, correct. I was giving lots of thumbs up. The first place to start, it's going to sound a little foo-foo-y, but it's with introspection, because no matter what you do in the digital world, or if it's in the real world, when you're actually face-to-face with someone, at the end of the day, if you're not being true with yourself, if you haven't figured out what's true and genuine and real about you, you're going to place yourself at a disadvantage. So first and foremost, figure out what you love. All the mentions, all the shout-outs. We look at Mike Carrera, I know firsthand, Kevin McCarthy. They've taken the time and they've invested in themselves to figure out what it is they're passionate about, and that's why their brands are sustainable. So first and foremost, start with figuring out what you love to do. And for instance, like Mike Carrera, he loves to take pictures. We talked about that on the last show. And so he's positioned himself where his customers are by taking pictures of Ford muscle cars. And people buy cars from him off of Instagram. And I give you a million examples, but that's the number one first and foremost step is to ask yourself, what do I love to do? What do I want people to see me as, and what can I make as a differentiating contribution to the market?
Yeah,
wow.
You know, and I have another question for you, Renee, that I just thought of when you were speaking, and it's simply this. What would you say to a salesperson, because I know you have to run into this very often, but what would you say to a salesperson who's at a certain level, they want to go to the next level, but they don't think, or they justify somehow in their mind that they can't really afford to take the next step monetarily? I'm talking about, you know, whether it's having a personal coach, whether it's having an Apple iPad, whether it's having some software program or CRM that for them individually. What would you say to them, that those that are too scared to maybe step up and invest in their careers and themselves?
You're absolutely right. I see it almost every day. Someone will reach out to me and say, I really want to do this, I need your help, and then they don't follow through. And I think, first of all, they're getting inspired by seeing all of these other success stories happen in front of them. And they think to themselves, I want to do what they are doing. And then they try to model that plan. When in reality, what they need to do is they need to figure out what their mindset is and what their results will be. Because just doing it the same way as everyone else, that's conformity. So especially with branding, the great brands, whether they're brick-and-mortar brands or they're personal brands, conformity happens when you do something the exact same way, because it's the process of conforming. But I think Aaron or Amanda, one of the sisters, mentioned consistency, and consistency is about the outcome being the same, but the way they go about it is very different. So mindset is key, because your mindset determines your behavior, and your behavior will lead you to the results. So if you're not looking at the results that you want to achieve, then you're just like throwing darts at a dartboard, only you've got a blindfold on.
There's a buzz, Renee, in the industry right now. It's in the arena of websites or digital platforms, and I know you've talked a little bit. Touch on that. I mean, I know digital platforms for automotive sales people, and speak to that regarding a Car Pro. And I know that's really, I like that term that you use a lot, Car Pro, and how they need to approach this with what mindset.
So when they look at considering a website, which you asked JD the question, the multiple choice, I love that. There is, you put it against the wall because there is no best answer. He says Facebook. I say website. I say website for the simple purpose of, if you know the results that you want to get. And for some, it might be leads. For others, it might be image management. For some, it might just be sharing their passions. But if you know what you want, and you position yourself and you build a website with your results in mind, focused on your results, then the behavior that you will exhibit will move towards those results. What happens, though, and I've seen it especially in the last, probably since the first of the year, the last 4 or 5 months, is salespeople are flocking to WordPress to build their websites, and they have no idea what it's like to manage a website. And so they fail at it. They do the same with Facebook. They do the same with Twitter. It doesn't matter the digital platform. It's all social. So first decide the results that you want to get, and then determine the behavior that you're going to have to exhibit in order to do that. And that comes from a mindset. You know, I think a lot, you guys have had Grant Cardone on the show, and he's a big fan among a lot of car people. And he talks about 10Xing things. And then, of course, I witness a lot. So I see people saying, yeah, 10X it, 10X it. But then it fizzles out. And the reason why is Grant Cardone thinks of himself as a winner. That is his mindset. And the results is what he gets from that mindset, which is winning. Then he 10Xs that. So if you're going to put together a Facebook page or a website, if you're going to jump on Twitter, if you're going to put together an Instagram or Pinterest, all of these are absolutely powerful places to build your online evidence manual, which is your proof, your professional proof and your personal proof. Then you need to know what results you want to get from those platforms before you build it. Otherwise, you're just one of, 750 million websites out on the web?
I love what you, absolutely. I love what you just said. And I think sometimes if people aren't careful to listen, we can miss the real message behind it. And I love what you just said. And I kind of want to bring it back to it. If you didn't hear what Renee just said, it's about foundation. It's, and it's about planning. It's about having a goal, knowing where you're going, because, I love it. You said before you can do it, doing is important and activating is important. But before you can ever do that, You have to know where you're going. You have to know where you want to go. And that, I think people miss that. They just like, fire, aim, ready. And, I understand that. I mean, I have a tendency, if not managed, to be that personality as well. But, I tell you what, you could get so much further, so much quicker, and so much more efficiently if you know where you're going and you actually think about it for a second. So I love that. And I think that people need to really not let that fly over their head. I think they need to catch it, and they need to marinate that for a little while.
By stopping and thinking about the results, you can actually create a vision, a picture in your mind of what it's like to achieve those results. And then just be truthful with yourself. Do you believe you can do it? And if you believe it, and you can, again, I'll stick with Grant just because everyone knows him. He believes it. He beyond believes it. He has this desire and this belief and acceptance of whatever he does, he's going to achieve it, and he's going to win at it. So to 10x working hard when your plan is failing is just going to burn you out. So decide, especially on the social platforms, I work with a lot of automotive professionals building their personal brand. That's my entire business model, is personal branding for car people, not just salespeople, but dealers and people within the industry that are in, vendor companies such as the Auto Traders of the world and such. So know that you need to figure out what mark you want to leave on someone, because here's the truth. You could be standing in the Starbucks line and you're third up to get your coffee and you're running late, and because your mind is telling you, I'm late, you're going to get frustrated. And then when you get to the front of the line and you place your order, your frustration is showing, and you're snappy with the barista, and they can't get your name right, or maybe your order is wrong, and you have maybe even it's not a massive outburst, but obviously you've had a tiff and you leave because you're late because you need to get to work. You have a 10 o'clock appointment. You're late because you're late, not because you stopped for coffee and the barista was slow. And when you get there, just know that that 10 o'clock appointment could have been standing behind you in the Starbucks line. So know how you want to leave your mark and be that person consistently with your own plan, with your own results in mind. Use models like the 10X model, but 10X what works, what you have proof that works. And so if you're going to put up a website, know what you want to do. Kevin McCarthy, he wants to deliver a daily topless weather report for Jeep owners, and he's done it every single day for over 300 days. They're 15 seconds long, and he uses Instagram for the platform, puts them on his website and embeds them through Facebook. He's wrapped all of his social platforms together, and he's not spending all of his day being a marketer. He sells cars for a living. I can give you a million more examples, but that's my passion. Decide what you want. If you want to be powerful, go knock someone over. If you want to be empowering, lift someone up. So it's that type of a shift in the mindset that I really think car people need to stop and not just be on Facebook because, well, we have to.
Right.
And I hear that a lot.
Renee, you are such a breath of fresh air, and you're a wealth of knowledge. I want to continue this conversation again, but we're running out of time. Can you tell all of our listeners how to reach you?
Well, it's easy. Renee Stewart, ReneeStuart. I'm not the meat and potatoes Stewart. I'm the one from Scotland. ReneeStewart.com is a splash page website, or you can just go to reputationrevenue.com. That's my business website. And I just want to throw out that if any of you are considering building a personal brand, there is a brand evaluation and report that I give away free there. Download it, fill it out, and if you want some help interpreting it, I will be happy to do a complimentary coaching consultation with you to help you sort that out. It's free, so take advantage of it. Then, or you could just pick up the phone and call me. 503-303-4699 is my business number. And then, of course, I'm on Facebook, and tweet me at Say My Name Too, because if you're going to say someone's name, you might as well say my name too.
Renee Stewart.
Love that.
You heard it there. Thank you so much, Renee, for being with us. You have a wonderful day and a great weekend. That was Renee Stewart, ladies and gentlemen. Reputation Revenue. Outstanding show today. We want to thank you. Listen, real quick before we jump off air, we're already a couple of minutes over, but oh well. We have, speaking of 10X, we gave away You're the Brand Stupid earlier, autographed by yours truly, Tracy Myers, that was on the show. And we're going to give away an autographed copy of the 10X Rule. Nate Weiner won last week, and we're going to be sending Nate the package from last week. Listen, right now, we want to see you on Twitter. We got the Tracy Meyer book we gave away. Listen, 10X Rule, autographed by Grant Cardone. We're not, Grant's not paying us. We believe in it and what he's saying. And you know what? Everything, I'll sum everything up in today's show. What she was talking about on 10X, bottom line is you could be the brand. You're the brand. Okay?
Absolutely.
And everybody on the show today is telling you ways in which you, the brand, can do it. And then Grant really ices the cake and says, hey, you know what? 10X it. Do it. If you're going to do it 10 times.
Yep. Let's see who's going to be creative and win this book.
Come on. Tweet us. Tweet us.
Step up.
Don't forget, next week, Tom Hopkins, we have Danny Benitez, and we have coming back Drive-By, and we have Get Your Social on with the identical twin Ryan sisters. And we got What's Trending. Thank you. Have a great day.
Head on a swivel, serving me's a no-no. Clean as a whistle as I pull out in my road.